Hey now, it's your brother Marcus. Welcome to another edition of the Elements of Inspiration Brother Marcus podcast. You know I give you the best podcasts on this side of the globe, whether it's interviews or food for thought. Well, today I want to talk about, when people say bad things about you, right? We want to talk about that, how to deal with that, and how to understand who we are from a biblical perspective, all right? So those are the two things that we're going to be talking about. And remember, you can always stay connected to your brother by downloading the mobile app at downloading, the website, BRO Marcus, Bro Marcus. You can go ahead and follow me on all social media, all that good stuff. But let's get into this conversation. How do we, deal with people that are always saying things about us, right? People decide to say, things like, you're not good enough. You can't become anything. We often hear that. What do you do when people talk about you? What do you say when people say things about you? How do you act when people, make you feel like you're not included in the game? We kind of talked about this before, but I want to take it from a different perspective because this is a conversation that never gets old, right? So I want to talk about how do you respond to negative things, negative people, negative thoughts, negative emotions. So this is how you can do it. When they talk about you, ignore it. That's right. For people who gossip for attention or for a reaction, silence is very important, right? You can make your silence make them feel like what they're doing is wrong. Anybody who has an automatic mechanism within them called the conscience, it will switch their mindset up and they will seem like, they're bored and maybe they will stop talking negatively. And sometimes we have to do that, right? In my circumference, it's always got to be positive thoughts, positive people, positive energy. Now, we got to walk into situations where people might not always be on the same page, and that's okay. It's called life. But do you confront people when they talk about you, or you hear somebody saying, I said something about, I heard? Most of the times, it's not worth my time, because it really isn't. For some people, they feel that, I got to confront this person. I got to tell them something. But sometimes when we confront people, it can turn an interesting situation into an awful situation. So the situation, it can really get real serious when one or two people come together because there's a misunderstanding or somebody was misquoted. If you're going to confront people, you got to do it calmly and ask questions to set boundaries and on what's acceptable behavior versus what's not. Or you can tighten up your circle. You know what I mean? You got to tighten up your circle. Some people, you have to let them go. There's a season for a lot of things in our lives. And some people are a part of certain seasons. And we have to learn to kind of move forward and let it go. I think you better let it go. We talked about that before, right? You got to let it go. And, take this as a projection towards the future. If people are talking about you and they're laughing and ridiculing you or whatever it might be, sometimes you just got to keep it moving. Life is so beautiful. There's so many things to do, so many places to visit, so much going on the earth that, sometimes you just can't even be focused on the little things. One of the things that makes me go, what in the world, is when people get on social media and air out a lot of things. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't done that before, some years ago, I would put your emotions on there. Oh, I feel a certain type of way or whatever. But as you sit back and you start to be on the outside looking in, you're like, ooh, that's not good. And people will put things that are suspended in, the internet animation, and it lasts forever. So you want to be very careful on, what you project about other people or what other people say about you. You cut them off, you leave it, you let it go, and you keep that train moving. And, I think let your actions speak louder than anything. That's one of the things that I've learned to do. Let my actions speak. Oh, you're not a great singer. Okay, but I put out about 8 singles throughout the course of a time period, right? And my singles are playing on the radio. So sometimes you don't have anything to prove. It's like, okay, you're not the greatest radio personality, or you're not the greatest speaker, or whatever. People might say all kinds of things, but you don't pay it any mind. You keep doing what you're doing, what you do. You do best. Let God handle them and the rest. That's all you got to do. Stay focused. These are the obstacle courses that we're going to deal with in life. When people, they want to say something that they become that hurdle that you got to get over, and you will. I let my actions speak all the time. I got nothing to prove to nobody. You know, I believe I can do something. I believe that God gave me the skills, the gifts, and ability, and so should you. You should say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about so and so. You know, sometimes you have to cut your circle. You have to, again, you have to switch who you've been hanging out with, talking to, whatever it might be. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need peace, and peace is definitely what we all need. And the way that we keep it is sometimes we might have to cut off the circle. And remember, this is also going to strengthen your focus and your self-esteem for you. You got to be healthy. You got to be right. You got to be strong. You. I'm serious. I spend a lot of time doing what I do in the studio. I spend a lot of time, just in my own world, traveling, with my family. That's what I spend most of my time doing. And then I come out to the public and I do and I share, because that's kind of part of what I do. It is part of what I do, but not totally who I am. It's a part of who I am. And so I want us to understand that, not everything that you do, everybody's going to love it, and it's okay. But you got to pray that you continue to do an effective job, and people will see what you do and who you do it for. Jesus said in the word, they will know you by your fruit. They will know you. They will get to know you. They'll get to know you. But remember, these things will strengthen your self-esteem if you cut unnecessary people out of your life. In other words, separate from them. Move on. Move forward. And practicing self-care is also detaching from those people that don't like you. They don't care for you, but they act like they do. But it's okay. It's called life. So again, surround yourselves around a lot of positive people, uplifting people, people that have been there, done that, and that are moving forward. And as the older you get, or the older we get, the wiser we should become. So become wise, my friends. Become very, very wise. And remember, you can set limits on how you engage people or what you're going to engage in. When people start talking negative about somebody, you got to switch that thing and say, you know what, that's not my cup of tea. I don't want to be a part of this party, and it's okay. Some people might not like it, but it's okay. Surround yourself with positive people that will support you, uplift you, encourage you, and motivate you, and put you in the right place in the right time. And the other thing is, you got to trust God. Really. We all do. Because when we begin to trust God and walk in the ways of what God is trying to show us, we got to read the word. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved. This is imperative. This is important, not to show off and brag. No, this will help us with our spiritual, supernatural identity that needs to be manifested into the physical realm in which we live. So with that being said, we have to know that, we are made in God's image. We are important, right? We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are precious. We are precious in God's sight. We are deeply loved. We are chosen and set apart. God has a plan for your life. He does. That's why we were created, right? We are new creations, new creatures and new creations, right? In the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5:17, we are no longer what we used to be. Some people always remember what you used to do and how you used to be, but you're no longer that person. You're a different person. You're doing better. And so what is so important about your life today is what God says about you. It's okay when people give you accolades and say, oh, you're a good this, you're a good that. Those things are good because we all want to be encouraged. But when people start talking opposite, you automatically go to the word. What does God say about me? And that's how we do that. All right, everybody. That's the Element of Inspiration, Brother Marcus Quicker Picker-Upper. I definitely want you to stay connected to me, of course, because I give you the best podcast on this side of the globe. And remember, download the Elements of Inspiration podcast. Go ahead, do it. Share it with your friend. Tag somebody, all right? Hashtag it, whatever you need to do. Just know that you will be inspired, you will be encouraged. And with that being said, I got to leave, but never from the sight of God. And as I say on the radio, don't touch that dial. But in this case, don't touch that podcast. It's your brother talking. We'll be right back with more inspirational podcasts.